Hey everyone, welcome back to Catching Up with the Walkers. Thank you so much for joining us. Here on the farm, you can see it's a beautiful rainy day.
Yeah.
But why is rain beautiful when you live on a farm?
We need the rain. We get annoyed by the rain, and then we want the rain, and then we hate the rain, and then we need the rain. It's a vicious cycle.
And then in Oklahoma, it gets hot, and the rain comes and cools it down, so it makes you love the rain. But then you got your muddy boots and everything you got to fight with, mud in the house.
And then it gets just sticky and nasty outside.
All kinds of stuff.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Today's video is sponsored by Flex-A-Spot. They have an awesome new, I'm going to call it a gift for Cassie.
I'm not going to get any work done now.
So I'll show you what we're talking about in a minute. It might help ease the back and make everything a little more comfortable. But after that, we are going to get back out here though and catch up on one thing that's actually happening right now. Remember the removal. There's a big ride going on, and I wanted to let you guys know because it's starting, and it may be coming through your area along a route. It's called the Northern Route, the Trail of Tears. If you live in an area where you see little road markers out by your road that says Trail of Tears, remember the removal, bike ride will be going through there.
Yep, but it's the Northern Route. There's several routes.
Yeah, there's several routes. This one's the Northern Route. I'll kind of show you guys the trail that's going to be going through. So, like I said, if you're in your area, you might just step outside your door and wave at them when they go by.
Yell and cheer and tell them great job.
But this is also the 15th anniversary of myself riding on the Trail of Tears bike ride, and Cassie riding along with one of the Cherokee Nation marshals.
Yeah. I told you it'd been that long.
Yeah, 15 years. That's crazy. So 2009 is when we went on the trip. We had 0 kids at the time.
Freedom!
Can you even remember what that was like?
No, not really.
It's really hard to remember. But we enjoyed ourselves very much back then. And Cassie enjoyed going along.
We still enjoy ourselves.
Okay, we enjoyed ourselves without kids back then. Now we enjoy ourselves with kids. But I thoroughly enjoyed the ride. There's not very many times that you will get a chance in your life to ride 1,000 miles on a bicycle over a few weeks period with all the support and everything it takes. So I enjoyed the ride. But one thing a little more interesting, and we've talked about this once before on the live, is what Cassie saw along the way. You want to tell them what you saw?
Beautiful countryside.
Come on. You know the people want to hear the truth, Cassie. The truth.
Or something that resembles Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Cassie saw Sasquatch. Bigfoot. I don't have I might change it to my Sasquatch hat later in honor. But like I said, you guys want to stick around and hear this story because you know Cassie. She's not going to tell a lie. And Bigfoot.
And I'm not going to tell a lame story.
And Bigfoot does exist. So stick around, but right now, Cassie hasn't actually got to sit in the chair yet, so we're going to head inside and check it out. Cassie, what was the surprise?
A new recliner.
A Flex-A-Spot recliner XL6. So we're going to go through the features of this, but you can see it has 2 remotes, one for the power options and one for massage and heat. So let's show you and tell you a little more about it. It has a weight capacity of 400 pounds, surpassing other lift chairs on the market. It even has the capacity to go almost completely flat. Cassie, you cannot be going to sleep on me.
Oh.
So I was going to show you guys too. The independent motors allow you to control your foot and your back separate. Cassie's just going to lay here. I think she's going to rest. And then it has all kinds of functions for comfort. So I'm going to turn it on high, medium, and low, leg, thigh, lumbar, and back. And you can do one or the other or all of them at the same time. How does it feel, Cass?
You just leave it alone and go do some chores or something.
Oh yeah, you just want me to leave you alone now, huh? So what else did you find on there, Cass?
Well, it has heat and it's starting to get so warm. So I really enjoy a good heating pad, laying on it, relaxing. So a massager and a heating pad in a chair while I'm laying down, perfect.
So not only does it heat and massage, but it's also a lift chair that lifts you up and gets you out of the chair easily. Most chairs on the market are going to cost about $2,000, but the price point on this one is below 500 bucks. So Cassie's worried she was going to slide out. But if you have an elderly person in your home or you know one, you know that mobility can be an issue in getting out. But try to stand up now, Cass. Super easy. So you don't have to fight to get out of the chair. They really made that with the elderly people in mind. So there's one other feature I didn't tell Cassie about. The headrest adjusts. So you have 1, 2,
Cool.
3 different adjustments. And if you want it to go back, you just push on it and it goes all the way back. And there's a USB port right down there on the remote. So I had to fight Cassie out of my chair, but if you guys are interested, check out the link. It's going to be down in the description. There's lots of other features that you can go and check out. Also, we have a special code to use, YTBXL650, and it's going to save you $50 off of a chair just like this. Or if you buy 2, you can save $50 on each chair to save $100 total. So let's make 2024 your year of ultimate comfort. Check out the link down in the description. Well, we had to move this party inside because it's a little bit rainy and a little bit thundering outside.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure what you would hear of that or what you would not. But after I finally got Cassie out of the chair.
Why are we sitting in these chairs? That one was way better.
After I finally got her out of the chair, we can move on to what we started to talk about earlier. Remember the removal. It is a great thing they do. And the whole point is to remember the lives that were lost. Thousands and thousands of Native Americans died on the Trail of Tears whenever they were forcibly removed from their home state, their homelands, to Oklahoma. Now, this isn't just the Cherokees. There were tribes all across the country that were moved. There's multiple Trails of Tears. But it's important to remember so history isn't repeated. Mm-hmm. History is a good thing. We need to remember it because whenever bad things happen, you don't want to repeat it. So, flashback 15 years. How old were you, Cassie? You'll be 40 this year.
So I was 25?
25-ish. So
I was going to be 25. I was 24 and
24. Yeah, and as was I. So that's about where we were at. Cassie and I are only a month apart. So, but I went back and looked for the map, and I found this along with it. This is from the Tulsa World.
Gary was a celebrity.
A route of remembrance. Hang on. You see the size of me, and then look at the size of Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, Michael Jackson also died.
Oh, I was laughing.
At that same time. But that was the news. Route of Remembrance. This is probably one of the bigger papers around where we are at. And then
was that one in the paper?
No, I didn't even see this one.
But it was it in our local paper?
Until it fell out. Yeah.
Huh.
This is
local Salina man.
Salina man cycling Trail of Tears.
He'd only been living in Salina a year because of me.
Yep. Well, there I was on the other side, rolling history. So anyway, that was this one says.
Did they come to our house and you rode down the road and they took a picture?
I think so. I don't remember.
Because that's the neighbor's fence.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the thing, is they just wanted to. It was a really, really short interview, but anytime somebody's going on a 1,000-mile bike ride, and at this point, they hadn't done the ride in 25 years.
Yeah.
So they done it one time in 1984, and then they revived the ride, and they did it 25 years later?
Yeah.
And we went on it. Cassie and I rode. Cassie was with the marshals.
I was in the support vehicles. I took care of water. I helped change flat tires. Missouri, your roads are terrible. We had the most in one day as soon as we crossed state lines. I helped, like, if there was, because I have a sports background and I've done sports medicine, things like that. I helped if no one got majorly hurt. We had one bike wreck, and I had to ride an ambulance with a girl because she had she busted her face or her chin or something.
Yeah, she hit a rock. A rock. But anyway, it was bad.
But they were sore. Or they really needed stretched out, or why does this hurt, or how can I stretch this? So I stretched a lot of people. and just offered support in any way I could, filled water bottles, things like that. So I enjoyed it because that's kind of my background. I just started my coaching career and enjoyed doing that, and I got to ride in the car and I didn't have to sweat a whole lot.
And she did an awesome job. Like literally, whenever you're riding, and we would ride up to, I think 81 miles per day was the longest we would ride, except whenever the leader took a wrong turn and went 4 miles out of the way. And we ended up going 89 miles that day. But either way, it was a lot of fun.
At
Cassie
first, when Gary
did
said,
awesome.
"Can my wife go with us?" they were kind of like, eh. But then I think they were glad they let me.
I think so. No regrets there. But after we did it in 2009, they have done it every year since. So now they're going
2009 or 2008?
2000, I think 2009 is what my I have a little certificate that they gave me.
Well, when's that paper?
Oh, Cassie wants to look.
Yeah, because you said 2008 a while ago.
Well,
Wait, no, we were married in 2008.
Yeah, 2009. This is June 26, 2009. Friday,
Okay.
June 26, 2009. So,
oops, I
that
just
was
hit the camera. When you are about to turn 40, like myself, dates are hard to remember.
well, that was really good though, and I'm really happy that they've kept going.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe.
And it's gotten better and more organized and all the things. When Gary and them went, that was the first time they had like some GPS pre-plans on where we're staying, how we're going to eat, do things like that. 25 years before that, it was kind of they were on their own. Get your map out, figure out what you're doing. Good luck to y'all.
And they carried all their gear on their bicycles with them. So
Yeah.
they had all their tents.
We had a trailer that we
stuff.
pulled. And so it's come a long ways. There's more requirements. There's more culture things you got to do.
More training.
You got to train. Some of the kids that were with Gary had not trained, but luckily they were
kids.
teenage
Yeah.
boys and girls that semi-athletic or, they were in decent shape just naturally, and they did okay. But it was still a struggle for them, and they're like, you're supposed to have been riding on your own. A bunch of teenagers aren't going to train on their own. So it's more organized. It's a great thing if you know someone in your family that would be interested in it. It's a great thing.
And one of the girls that rode with me, or the girl that rode with me, her mom also rode on the ride 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that could happen again if Ranger decides, or Ransom, or Mazzy, one of my children decides to ride. There would be 2 generations in a row going on the ride, which would be really cool.
We're going with them. They're not going by themselves.
No, this is a good time to mom to turn the babies loose.
No.
Let them spread their wings and fly.
No.
You don't have to go with them, even though Cassie would want to. She's like, got an extra seat back there anywhere? I know what I saw.
Need anybody to change some flats?
I know what I saw last
This
time.
time I'm getting Bigfoot on camera.
I'll have my camera. So, but where do they go on the northern route of the Trail of Tears? You can Google it, and actually I can throw up a map right now, the northern route of the Trail of Tears. But they also gave us, and one of the things I took away, this is actually what I was looking for when I found those old newspaper clippings, is each day the ride. So what I want to do is kind of go through a couple of these, but then we're going to get to the point where Bigfoot was spotted.
Oh, geez.
And I want to pinpoint that on the map. But it starts in New Echota, Georgia. And the first day ride, you go from New Echota to Red Clay State Park. So if you're not familiar with the area down there, it's kind of a map. But there's a lot of history on those first 3 days because those were the old homelands of the Cherokees, and we got to see a lot of houses. We got to go to one house that was relatives, distant relatives of mine, and we got to see the way they lived, kind of. They had an old spring house behind their house. That Federal Road went by it, which the Federal Road at that point was more or less 4 wagons, so it was about 6 foot wide.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the interstate today. Whenever you hear Federal Road, we learn things like that. Then they went to Red Clay State Park, to Dayton, but we covered, basically, we went Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri.
No, I think it was Illinois.
No, it was Illinois. Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. But we're going to fast forward now. Remember the Fall Creek Falls Park? Mm-hmm. That was really pretty, wasn't it? So that was in Tennessee. We rode from Dayton to Falls Creek Park. And I'm going to say these names because...
I don't remember what it looked like. I was just...
You don't remember getting under that waterfall? like we hiked down and there was huge waterfall that fell down, and then some of the riders got under there and like was falling over there.
Yeah.
So Falls Creek Falls to Woodbury, and if I name some of these towns, you guys live by them, then you could go out and cheer on the riders as they pass by.
Yeah, if you get on Facebook, Cherokee Nation's Facebook page, they're updating about the ride and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool. They'd be riding, they'd come into a town, and there'd be a church group waiting to give them snacks or water or whatever. Or they'd come through a town and the local media would be there taking pictures and talking about it and things like that. So that was always really cool. People standing on the main street cheering for them, or randomly just you're in the middle of nowhere and then this car stops and rolls down the window, hey, nice job, guys.
Yeah.
As they moved, people, the town ahead kind of knew they were coming. At first, like no one, you go into town and people are like, what is happening? But then news spread, it started being on the local news, it started being in the newspapers, and it was just a really neat thing.
So Woodbury to Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville to Hopkinsville. And we're getting closer to where we saw Bigfoot. Hopkinsville to Berry Ferry.
I remember riding a ferry, I think.
We rode a couple of ferries, I think. But Berry Ferry to Green Ferry. And that is where we went through, I believe, it was either this one or the next one, which was...
There's a bunch of soybean fields.
Cape Girardeau?
Gerardo? No.
To Trail of Tears Park. Either way. We were on the southern tip of Illinois. So right here, you're going to see you have more or less Missouri, then you have Kentucky, and then you have Illinois that just comes down right in the middle.
And it makes some noise.
And this was on about day 8 or day 9, so we've been riding 8 or 9 days. Now, you do take 2 rest days. One of the rest days was in Nashville. But this was on day 8 or day 9, and we were riding across a giant cornfield. And I'm going to tell you soybean. Sorry, Cassie's got the details. I'm going to tell you my experience of seeing Bigfoot first, because
you didn't.
I didn't. But so what I did is I rode across a giant soybean field in the wide open, and I never saw Bigfoot. But the reason
you were like this.
But I was going to say the reason is when you're riding a bicycle and there's 12 of you in line, and you are...
It was a narrow 2-lane road,
yeah,
no shoulders.
You're 18 to 20 miles an hour, and you are about 2 foot off the person in front of you's tire. So you are constantly just down and just pedaling and going. Like you're not up, oh, look at that, what's that over there walking. You're not doing that. So
I was in a Cherokee Marshall's SUV, and the guy I rode with, he was an avid hunter. And so, in a car moving 15 miles an hour, and we had a pretty good buffer. We had the lights on, letting people know if they were going to come around, hey, things going on up here. So we were always looking for deer, different wildlife. Hey, look at that. Or just looking at the countryside, and we had plenty of time to be looking around.
Yeah. So plenty of time to be looking around and prepare the next water bottle. Yeah, Cassie was also working while she was doing this.
So iPhones were a very new thing. I had an iPhone because my Sunday school teacher at church got a new one, and she gave me her old one. But I don't think it had service on it. I think I was still using my old school phone. So like seeing something and be like, oh, video it. It wasn't something you really did.
And you weren't a YouTuber. So you didn't have like a GoPro in one hand and a Canon in the other. You were just, winging it out there.
So we are driving, and we're both like, and then, a few seconds pass, and then you look at each other and like, did you just see that? And he's like, yeah. What was that? I was like, I don't know, go back. He's like, we can't just go back. We gotta stay behind. I was like, we'll catch up. I was like, that looked like Bigfoot out there, but was that just someone wearing a suit? And he's like, no, it was way too tall. It would have had to been like 2 or 3 people on top of each other. And there was like some crows or something out there for like reference, but it was quite a bit of distance away from us. And so then I think he had like a BlackBerry phone, or I don't remember, But whatever, we were able to like Google, I think, Bigfoot stuff.
He had the old BlackBerry Pearl, I remember.
Yeah, I think you could get online with those.
Yeah, you get the internet.
So we Googled like signs if you see Bigfoot, and you should have smelt something weird, like different things. So the next stop was like 10, 15 miles down the road, which is a long ways on a bicycle. We get out and I'm asking the riders, did y'all, about 10 miles back, did y'all smell anything weird? Did you guys hear anything weird? I'm doing all this stuff that Google says they should do, and they're like, no. And so I'm like, well, Danny and he's like, He's like, I'm a marshal. I have a reputation to uphold. I am pleading the fifth and not going along with anything you say. So I was like, it was walking like this, and I was doing all the riders were like, you're crazy.
So, now just the.
We went to a sporting goods store like that night or the next evening, and they had a life-size bear stuffed in a thing, and they're like, Cassie, this is what you saw. I was like, a bear doesn't walk like this, and it was ginormous.
So, here are the facts, because there's a lot of crazy theories out there about Bigfoot and this and that. But here are the facts. Open soybean field, super big, the size of 2 or 3 humans, okay? And when it walked, it moved.
Just like that picture you see, just like that hat Gary's not wearing.
I don't know where my hat is. I'll get it in a little bit. It moved its arms like Bigfoot, like Sasquatch, like all the other people that say they have seen Sasquatch. And 2 people saw it. One of them openly talks about it and admits it because...
I ain't got nothing to hide.
Because you don't care what you guys... I'm like, what are you going to do?
You can think I'm crazy.
But the other one would have to explain it to all of his fellow officers, Cherokee marshals, which are like really legit cops. So...
Not saying that other cops aren't legit.
Well, I'm not saying they're not, but they do with a lot of different trainings. Anyway, they're
in a class of their own.
If there's something major going to go down around here, like something big, and they need like a SWAT team with like all of the equipment and all of the people and everything, that's who they call, because they've been trained very, very, very well. Anyway, so he's not talking. But Cassie, on the other hand, is going to tell you guys the story. So what do you guys think? Have you ever seen Bigfoot? Have you ever seen Sasquatch? Do you believe Cassie?
I always thought it was silly and just like a myth, fairy tale until then. And then I'm like, maybe there really are some out here, because there was no other way to explain what I saw.
And I've known Cassie a long time, and I've never known her to lie.
He hadn't known me long then, and he thought I was goofy. But then as the years went on, and I'm like, Gary, I promise we saw something. And he's like...
So here's
We'd only been married a year, and I think he's starting to think, oh, her crazy's coming out.
We may have camped a night or two, and you could have been a little bit tired. But let's not take away from the truth of the matter of the facts. But what do you guys think? That's what I'm interested. Do you guys think Bigfoot exists? What's really odd, and I'm just saying this, like I believe Cassie, so I'm there. I default believe Bigfoot's there, but there are so many game cameras, like so many game cameras out in the woods at this point. Like there wasn't 30 years ago, but there are cameras everywhere, and you still don't get like good video footage of Bigfoot. Why not?
Because he's smart.
Because he senses electronics and stays away from them?
He'll walk out in the broad daylight soybean field, but he won't go by a camera in the middle of the night.
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like,
I really wish we would have turned around and went back. I really wish we would have looked a little better. I really wish I would have videoed it. But just last week on our vacation, we saw something in the field that later I'm like, Gary, did you see that? And we should have went back to see. I'm fairly certain I saw a legit wolf, which I know they exist, but this
I really wish I would have hit on the brakes and turned around.
And I didn't even think to get my phone out, and that's like what we do now. But it was bigger than Xena. That's a whole different story. But
she weighs 105 pounds.
Yeah, but like just when you see those things, it's such a wow.
What did I say?
That you don't think about it till a little later. Then you start thinking about it, and you're like, okay. Can we go back and redo that?
I got my green hat to match my green shirt.
So the kids and I saw that at a local store, and for your birthday, Christmas.
It was a holiday or something.
We got that for Gary because I thought it was, I thought he'd like it, and he wears it quite a bit.
I do like it.
But that
I like that it's not any brand. It's just a Bigfoot.
is legit what I saw.
So I am going to wear my Bigfoot hat for the rest of the video in honor of Cassie. And
That right there is what I saw.
and hey, easy. But there are lots of people that go and actually hunt, and they'll set up in the middle of the woods, and they'll put their little meters out and their things down at the Southern Oklahoma is a big one. Like they have an annual event where they all come together. We don't do that, but there's nothing wrong with it if you do.
I didn't even have to do it, and I've seen him.
If you enjoy it. But those people, because we've posted a video before when we went live one time talking about the same subject, and those people are really interested in Cassie's story.
And that's why I don't even like talking about it, because I started getting 800 questions. It was 15 years ago. I don't know.
Okay, well, and the main reason
you can ask me questions, but what I've told you is what I know.
So, to all those, remember the removal riders, look out for Bigfoot.
In 15 years, he could be in California by now.
He could be in California.
As slow as he was moving, he could be there by now, though.
But hopefully they don't, if they do see Bigfoot, hopefully it's a good encounter like yours.
Yeah.
I just don't want anybody making him mad.
He was a nice feller.
Okay, but if you guys are interested, check out, Facebook, Cherokee Nation. It's called Remember the Removal. You can Google it and check it out. And like I said, they'll be coming through your area if you live along that northern route of the Trail of Tears. Mm-hmm. And when they travel, they always try to stay as close as possible to the actual trail. So historians have went back and retraced the actual trail. So there were times when we went that we weren't on the road at all. We were walking down
carrying your bikes.
Yeah, gravel path or something. We were carrying our road bikes. But I still have my road bike and I still ride it. It's 15 years old. Maybe I should get a new one, Cass.
I don't know about that.
I've seen some full carbon fiber ones that I really like.
Okay.
I don't ride them enough to get one. They're like $3,000.
Cassie gets a side-by-side. Gary gets a new road bike. Sounds good.
Let's see if that can happen later this year. We'll see. We'll see how many people like Bigfoot on this video. No, we do love those sharing with you guys, sharing our past experiences, sharing our point of view and what we do, and that's what Catching Up with the Walkers is all about. But as far as prayer requests, do remember those riders as they are out on that road. There are a lot of people that drive that have almost no sense. Like almost no sense. Like they see a bicycle and instead of slowing down, they speed up and they get closer to you.
One of them got clipped by a mirror on a car because that's how close they were to them. And then when she had a wreck, it was just nobody's fault. She hit a rock and it was done with. But things can happen. People don't pay attention. Also, the heat, and I was constantly telling all those kids, drink water, drink water, drink water. And I'm like, what is in your bottle? Well, I put some tea in it this morning. Or one kid's like, I filled mine up with the coffee pot before we left the hotel.
Wyatt did half coffee and half water. It didn't work out well.
2 days left, and he's in the floor crying like a baby because he had kidney stones.
That will happen if you drink water.
There was a boy named Dallas who I'm like, you need to drink water. And he's like, I ate a whole watermelon yesterday. That ain't water,
That
son.
isn't how it works. That doesn't work. But we had so much fun. And again, some of those kids, they were 16.
They're adults now.
17 years old.
I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, I got to go on the trip because I was, the age limit I think was 25. And I was 24 and I was in my master's program getting my master's of business. And so I was a student and I was younger than the minimum age. Therefore, I qualified and I got to go. So
Cassie is a white lady, so I didn't qualify. So a lot of times people
you
are
didn't
like,
apply.
is Cassie native?
You didn't apply either.
No, but I didn't qualify. One, I wasn't in school, and two, I am not native. But I was very fortunate to get to go, and I really appreciate them allowing me to do that because I did learn a lot. Gary's native, our kids are native. I was able to learn way more about their family and their tradition and their heritage than I ever would have learned. They don't teach you those things in school. And so I was very grateful that I was able to attend.
Yeah, it was quite the trip, and like I said, we're just happy that we have a platform here to be able to share with you guys. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to hang out with us. We hope you have a great day, and God bless.
We love you guys.